All right, guys. Limited home insurance options in California as major carriers pull back. We mentioned already on the show, Allstate and State Farm are not currently accepting new applications to California. Correct. But I mean, here's what I'm going to ask: when will people start blaming the state? At what point do you think people start blaming the state and not just the insurance carriers themselves?
This is just crazy to hear this. Like I never thought in a wild years, in all my 17 years in this industry, that I ever hear we have an issue with insurance your home. Like this is just crazy to even have this conversation. But again, it all goes to the state level. It goes to everything that's going on. I just don't get it.
To me, it kind of feels like there's a lot of finger pointing going around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like, but I also understand the mechanics of it. When we're talking about having to basically petition to raise rates a certain amount on premiums, not rates, so raise premiums a certain amount, but having to get permission from the state commissioner so that we're not gouging people. But then like, fine, you don't want to play along, we'll just leave. Yeah. Well, then now the state goes, okay, well, wait a minute. How do we make adjustments to that so we can allow people to have coverage? That's why I'm asking the question. When are people going to get upset and go, hey, someone needs to come to the plate and help us with this? Because the California home prices being so expensive, rebuild costs being so expensive, who is sitting on $400,000 right now to rebuild their house if they don't have insurance? Nobody. Who is it? It's nobody. And if you don't have the California Fair Plan and you don't have insurance, guess what? You're SOL. That's what this looks like.
So Prop 103 was basically in place to help homeowners basically protect against insurance and rising up prices.
Correct.
I feel that now they need to either eradicate that or fix it to be able to then now help homeowners, because the protection, obviously it worked, they got protected, so on. But now we need help. Now homeowners need help from the state as much as they need from the companies. And I feel that there's a middle ground where there could be something done. And I don't know about policies enough to speak on it, but I know that there's some sort of understanding and some sort of way or procedures that can be done where they could raise up the price, but at the same time, the government can help in some sort of way alleviate that rise in insurance policy premiums.
And right now, in the recording of this show, we are in October of 2023. And between now and whenever they get this figured out, there is going to be this no man's land where people will have catastrophic loss. They do not have insurance. They're going to lose their house, or they're going to lose their structures on their property, and there will be no solution for them. Yeah. Will there be a retroactive solution? Maybe, but that is way beyond what are the core things that need to be fixed as far as functionality in the law and the policy and the premium and getting insurers re-incentivized to come back to California. I think that's the issue. And the other thing is, I'm not necessarily convinced yet that the people who have stayed in California are going to be able to absorb that 21% vacancy that Allstate Farmers and State Farm is causing by all them leaving. Yeah. I don't know who is big enough to take that, or even has that risk tolerance or big enough, cash purse to absorb all that business.
That's another conversation there.
Yeah. And I guess one of the biggest things is that they can't incorporate the cost of the fire into the policy. So therefore, it makes it harder for them to dictate how much it's going to cost, which I think right there in that sense lies the solution of being able to build it into the policy already. But then again, Prop 103 stands in the way. So, hey, what are we doing here, California?
Well, and at this point, it's estimated that there's 2 million homes in California that are considered at high or extreme risk. Wow. So even if you have a small percentage of those homes that have some sort of catastrophic loss, even not 10%, that'd be like 200,000, but even 1% is still 20,000 homes. 0.5% is 10,000 homes. 0.25% is 5,000 homes. Think about 5,000 people you may know, or you may not even know 5,000, just displaced, don't have insurance, and cannot even afford to rebuild their place. This is going to be a problem for people, no matter which way you slice it.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So, we have this issue where material costs have increased as much as 40% over the last couple of years. Memo, you're mentioning that their labor costs have increased. But, as an insurance company, if you're capped off that you can't raise premiums more than 7%, or you have to get it on an exception basis to raise it higher than that, it really isn't keeping up with inflation.
Yeah, exactly.
So what would you what would you say about that? Would you take that deal? You wouldn't take that deal, would you?
No, of course not.
I know you took it.
Why would you?
No, you can't. No, you can't. And, talking about mitigation and some of these other things, like I hear all these references or these suggestions, and a lot of them just, to me, equal dollar signs. And I go, that's just going to cost more money. Yeah. But then eventually that gets to the consumer, and then the consumer's cash strapped, or maybe they can't qualify now or something like that. And that becomes the deterrent. And, this is all mixed in with real estate and mortgage, guys. For all of you watching that don't understand how mortgage real estate is connected to insurance, most lenders, or all lenders, are going to require that your house has property insurance on it, so that they'll finance your property.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, the banks, we want to be protected, right?
Yeah.
In case of fire, and the property just goes down. If you don't have insurance, then most people don't have large piggy bank to go out there and reconstruct an $800,000 house.
And on that note, I just do want to say, there are still over 100 insurers still insuring homes in California. We're mentioning the big names because they're the big names, but there are a handful, more than 100 still, that are insuring in California. And some of the suggestions that we have on the show from this direct article is to, you're looking for insurance. Number one, evaluate your needs. Number two, make a list of priorities. And three, gather quotes. I mean, look, 100%. You might actually only get one or two. Fine. Better two than none. Better one than none, in my opinion.
This is what the independent brokers are now coming more into. We're needed. They're going to be a lot more needed. They understand the area. Unlike the bigger companies, they just kind of go through the demographics and see, okay, here you go on the map. Where somebody like the smaller brokers, their boots on ground, they know their areas much better. But again, these experiences, we had a client that went out there, went shopping and couldn't get an insurance quote anywhere. And the normal person that I actually refer them to, she had to go back and ask corporate to see, hey, can we get the insurance quote? It took literally a week to get a quote.
I heard about that. I heard about that from a friend of mine too. Remember we used to be able to get like the same day policy, and it's not that way anymore. It's not even like next day in some cases.
I asked one of our insurance partners, he told me, hey, it's taken a little bit over a week. And this time they went as far as to ask me, last time the roof got replaced, a lot of specific things that usually, they don't ask, but now everything mattered. And they clearly specified, hey, all these questions we're asking detailed because it matters and it will help bring the price of the premium because it is expensive. Everything counts right now as far as that.
And I think that points to something else that is coming out of this, which is, it is a heavily data dependent system and heavily data reliant in order to make appropriate decisions on risk assessment and also cost analysis in order to know where margins are, what's going to cost, and where are the threats. Where are the threats, and identifying that even at the most granular of all levels. So
exactly. So one of the good things is be prepared. They're saying now be prepared to pay higher premiums. So here goes that word again, conditioning. We're trying to get people conditioned out to understand the new norm.
Yep.